Good morning. It is Friday morning, 9 a.m., June 24th. Checking here, confirming that I got audio coming through. This is Windows Daily number 2, Task Manager number 3. A little different way to start. That's probably going to be consistent from the beginning, as I'm going to acknowledge the chat messages from yesterday and make some responses. So here on computer number 1, monitor number 1, these are the chat messages. I guess I need to turn off that picture-in-picture. Now I'm not going to read through them all. I'm not going to read them all in by just recording them here. And then what I did is I took the ones that had questions or things that I wanted to respond to. I'm going to deal with those real quick here. Yes, 2 days ago I received an email from Jose Alvarez saying he has a technical question for you if you want extra content for YouTube. I had issues with Roku, Ocho, Vizio. Not sure how to deal with Windows. I'm not sure if you only deal with Windows. I understand if you want to tackle this issue. Jose, a great time would be Saturday for that, where we can have conversation. There's other people there that can throw in with that too. So I'd like to handle that on Saturday, but I am declaring here that I will respond to those types of emails and questions. And then from the chat from yesterday, BH Ringer says, browsers have their own task managers which give description of each process, making it easier to identify the disruptive one. Yes, I'm going to Alt-Tab over here to the browser, and from the browser you do Shift-Escape, and that brings up the browser task manager. I'm not going to go into detail now, just pointing out that that's how you get to it. And that's true with Microsoft Edge as well. Microsoft Edge is also Shift-Escape since it's based on Chromium. And then coming back to my list here, BH Ringer says, perhaps review Performance Monitor as well as Resource Monitor. Yes, we'll get to that. I'm going to finish with Task Manager first and then get into Resource Monitor, and then we can go to Performance Monitor, but a very quick for that is Windows key R and then perfmon, as I already have it typed in there, and press enter. That'll get you into Performance Monitor. A variation on that is Windows key R perfmon/report, and it says it's going to run for 60 seconds, but it won't stop. That's been broken for a long time. After it runs for 60 seconds, you can close it and you can go into Performance Monitor and look at that report. I'll be showing how to do that when I get to that part of Windows Daily. Then Londog says, when you examine Task Manager and what the hard drive is doing, when it shows file activity, can you talk about what's actually going on in those active files moving around as they do their operations? Yes, we'll do that. A little bit of a touch on that today maybe, but more likely in a future day. Tomorrow or the next day. Not tomorrow. These are Monday through Friday. Then from the Windows Daily Task Manager 2 comments, so the comments on the video from yesterday, BH Ringer says, great series of videos, very informative suggestions, show how to run Task Manager as administrator, and the way you do that is click on the Start button, type Task MGR, and then right over here you can click on Run as Administrator. Now, I don't know that I've ever done that out of need because I'm always working with a local user account or even a Microsoft account that is an administrator, a local administrator. I suspect, and I haven't tested this, if you're currently logged into Windows with a non-administrator account, also known as a standard account, when you click on Run as Administrator, I think you'll be prompted for the administrator password in order to do that. And I've never come across the need to do that. So going back to Task Manager and getting into some other items here. Now you see here that I have Crystal Disk Mark open. Oops, I didn't mean to move that around like that. I think I got it back fairly close. I'll get into comments about that in a moment. So we've been through the Processes tab. There is more that can be done, but I'm going to move on to Performance tab and look at each of these. So when you're looking at the CPU, you can see here how much percentage-wise is being utilized on the CPU right now. You got them down here in digits, of course, how long it's been up, so how long the computer has been running. Now this is showing seconds, minutes, hours, and days. Now, I actually have this computer as in sleep mode overnight, so sleep mode doesn't stop that timer. I've never come across a need to really look into these in more detail, but you've got cores and you've got logical processors, also known as threads. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right because I haven't, like I say, I haven't looked into this screen in that much detail. And I know I'm going to come across things here where I'm teaching something that I'll say, well, I haven't looked at that before. And that's because I go into all of these tools with a specific purpose in mind, typically not hunting around for everything. Now here in the memory, we're showing how much memory is utilized right now. Tiny amount. Now keep in mind, I have Edge open, I have Chrome open, I have Microsoft Word open. I am streaming live to YouTube right now. I have XSplit open, but I have 256 gigabytes of memory. Now, for those of you who don't have the numbers really well formulated in your mind, a low amount of memory on a computer would be 8 gigabytes. 16 gigabytes is very common with Windows 10. 32 gigabytes is a really healthy computer. I'm kind of overkill with 256. I know. I had my reasons for choosing that. This is the amount in use, and that's a compressed number. Again, I haven't looked at that either, the details of it. Committed, cached, paged pool, non-page pool. So the page pool would be your, the word is escaping me right now, swap file. Swap file or temporary virtual memory on the drive. What it takes is a portion of your programs, applications that are in memory and stores those on your storage media and brings them in and out. I have 256 gigabytes of memory, yet it is showing a 1 gigabyte paged pool right now and a non-paged pool. I'm not ready to define what they are, the distinction between those two. Maybe we'll get into that down the road. Disk is going to show your disk activity. This is showing disk L. Disk L is what I call my long-term storage. That's a spinning drive on my computer that I copy files to that I'm not going to need for a while. So my prior videos periodically get copied off to that. So there's no activity there right now. If I go to disk 1, now notice my spinning hard drive is disk 0. My NVMe drive is disk 1. It's partitioned as a C drive, M drive, and an F drive. And I click onto there. And we're showing all three of those storage areas at the same time. Now this graphic down here that has a solid line and a dotted line, over here we're showing this solid green bar on the left side of read speed. So the solid green line is read activity and the dotted line is write speed activity. This is hard to really make anything out of that because there's so little going on this computer right now, even though I'm doing all this streaming and so on. When I go to Ethernet, we can see the activity here, and this here in this dotted line, that corresponds to this dotted line up here. So that's sending, and here is receiving. This is showing my throughput on these graphics. So this dotted line is my sending activity and then my receiving activity while I'm live streaming here. Now, these graphs look a lot different when before I launched XSplit. Because I have XSplit now, it kind of overpowers everything else that's running on my computer right now. But you can get a little more familiarized with what's going on your computer by looking through these. Then the GPU. So this is showing what's going on with the graphics adapter. This is a 3D section, this section called copy, video decode, video encode. I vaguely know these terms, not a lot about them, but again, I haven't had need or reason to go poking around into these. I'm just looking at another screen here. Yeah, I haven't seen any confirmation that I'm actually streaming here. I'm going to bring this back to, this panel over here. That's what I need to see. Yeah, there are some people in the chat room. I'm not going to be acknowledging the chat during each live stream. I'll acknowledge it the next day the way that I did at the beginning of this video. Utilization shows down here for the graphics adapter. So one of the things that I found with graphics is I found every one of the graphics and video editing programs and broadcasting programs that I have used across multiple computers have crashed. And when I go researching what is the advice to do when they crash, they say turn off the hardware encoding, meaning they want me to use the CPU for encoding instead of the graphics adapter. And I go, what? Why did I buy this expensive adapter if you're telling me not to do it? It doesn't quite work out like that because it's still doing a lot of the work in the background. And that's a subject that's beyond the scope of these videos. So then GPU memory is showing 4/152. I'm going to say that's using 4 gigabytes out of 152 gigabytes. Dedicated GPU memory showing shared GPU. I'm going through these a little bit quickly, and I am admitting I don't know great detail about these because I haven't had need to look into these in detail. My purpose here is to point out all this great information that is available with the built-in tools within Windows. I kind of shy away from using utility software, especially when it is for accessing information that Windows already provides us access to. Looking to see if there's anything else on it. It shows your DirectX version here. Then let's go on to the next tab, App History. Whoops, my mouse is on the wrong screen. That's why that's not clicking there. And you probably haven't been seeing me moving the mouse around. Now, I was looking around at this a little bit this morning in preparation for this live stream. And I saw some interesting things here. Of course, we can sort these columns by any of these headings. And that's where I found some interesting information. When I click by CPU time, notice here, this is Task Manager for the computer that I am using to live stream onto YouTube. And what's taking up most of the CPU time? Phone link. I do not use phone link on this computer. And this has got me interested. Okay, well, I want to go disable that or turn that off. If I right click on this, I can switch to it. And, oh, you know what? I should modify that. This is not current CPU time. This is accumulated CPU time. This is app history. So resource usage since May 25th for the current user account. It says that I've used 19, is that minutes or hours and minutes? I don't know. I'm going to guess it's hours and minutes. So I'm kind of interested in looking to uninstall that or deactivate it or something like that. So looking at these things, what has recorded a large amount of CPU time, but still, since May 25th, how does phone link show at the top of the list of what it's been using for CPU time? You know, some of these things I can tell right now, some of these things that I'm presenting on these videos, it's going to become a conversation between the chat room and the comments on the video or people emailing me, and we may dig into this stuff deeper because that don't make sense. Then network, we can also sort that column. I got the mouse on the wrong screen again. Network. And top of this list is mail and calendar. I don't use Windows Mail and Calendar. Metered network. I don't have a metered network. I haven't told Windows that my network is metered. And then tile updates. So here, weather and Spotify. So the tile updates I'm going to expect are down here on the Windows button. And here's the tiles. Let's turn off my picture-in-picture. Here's the tiles. So here's weather. Now I'm going to go ahead and try seeing what I can do for, I can unpin it from start, or I can uninstall it. Can I really uninstall weather? And is that the one that I want to do? Well, I don't really use it off the computer. I use my phone to look up weather. So yeah, and I might be crashing something here. If the live stream suddenly ends, then you know, oops, this was not a good thing to do. Live, unscripted, little bit planned. So uninstall, will that actually go away? Although it still is a history item, but maybe that'll just stop it accumulating. So that just uninstalled it. And I think that was probably a Microsoft Store app. All right, so I think that about covers it for today's live stream. I will be looking at the chat comments later. I'll be copying them over into my Microsoft Word document. For those of you who missed it at the beginning, this is what's on it currently, and I responded to some of these at the beginning of the video. And so things that come to me by email or in the chat, live stream chat comments, or in comments on the video afterwards, I'm most likely going to at least acknowledge or respond to the next day. I'm not going to be responding to, "Hi Doug, how are you?" kind of comments. I appreciate them. It's great. It's good for you guys to visit back and forth between each other. Love to have those comments in there. I'm just not going to call them out, each one of them. So, I just realized I didn't have my face on the screen. Oops. And then here's my email. If you want to send me an email with a technical support question, I'm not going to respond. I'm not likely to going to reply to the email, but we'll probably include it in a subsequent live stream on these Windows Daily live streams. So there we go. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.